Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. I am so glad that you tuned in today. We are going straight into the weekend after this, but before we do, we have to talk about this new memo that the NFL sent to all teams and how some players are reacting to it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
Now, Jackie, quick little look into your weekend. Do you have anything fun planned? I would love to hear it before we get into this controversial news.
I have nothing fun planned. I have one more bottle of the TO wine that I bought, which is actually very, very good. So if you want a review on that, go to my YouTube page. We did a review on that. I'm going to crack that bottle open, find some movies, probably take a nice little walk around my neighborhood because I haven't done that yet. That's about it. Nothing exciting at all.
Okay, well, that sounds like a very relaxing weekend. I'm actually going to be taking a 2-day course, which is going to take up my entire weekend. I'm not that excited about it, but I think it'll be beneficial for me to do it anyway. It's just going to be like working 2 more days, though. 7-day work week. It's going to be rough. But you do that kind of thing all the time, Jackie.
Every week. When I get down, I'm like, ooh, comfy chair.
I'm not used to the 7-day work week. Okay, you guys, let's get into this first, or our only need to know news story for the day. The NFL sent a memo to its clubs stating that if a game cannot be rescheduled during the 18-week schedule due to a COVID-19 outbreak among unvaccinated players, then the team with the outbreak will forfeit and be credited with a loss. In addition, players on both teams will not be paid for that lost contest, and the team responsible for the canceled game due to unvaccinated players will cover financial losses and be subject to potential discipline from the commissioner's office. Now, this is the clearest stance that the NFL has taken on COVID-19, on vaccinations, and it's definitely a pretty substantial incentive for players to go out and get vaccinated if they don't want to lose money, or at least for team owners to push their players to get the vaccination. The league did say that they're not going to mandate vaccinations. They're not going to make it a requirement. They're leaving it up to players to decide whether or not they would like to do that. But the restrictions in place for people who aren't vaccinated and who potentially contract and spread the virus, and all of the potential penalties for the NFL teams make their stance on what they would like to see happen pretty clear. Some NFL players are not happy about this update. Leo, can we get the first asset up there? DeAndre Hopkins posted this tweet and later deleted it. He said, "Never thought I would say this, but being put in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL." Like I said, he later deleted that tweet, so it's not up there anymore. Ezekiel Elliott had a slightly different perspective. Since the outbreak is going to result in lost salary for him, he felt like that was reason enough for him to go out and get the vaccination. He said, quote, "You said game checks? I got the vaccine just because I wanted to put myself in the best situation to be out there for my team week in and week out." He says that he knows it's a personal choice. He said, quote, I think that's kind of a touchy subject. You can't really tell someone what to do with their body. I grew up in a family where we didn't get vaccines, so it's kind of hard to tell someone who their whole life, their mom and dad tell them not to get vaccines to go get vaccinated. And that's a really valid perspective. People have different opinions on vaccines. I know I've seen a bunch of different opinions in the chat. There's been different opinions at our company in general. So people have their reasons for getting or not getting the vaccine. Jackie, I just want to get your reaction to the NFL's policy on rescheduling games due to COVID outbreaks.
So I thought they worded it flawlessly and somewhat problematically as well, because the first team that I thought about was the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know that they basically suffered the most, even though they didn't have any COVID outbreaks on their team, not one, but they suffered the most because they had to play, I forget, it was a lot of games in a very short amount of time that they had to play because other teams were having these outbreaks, and that literally was detrimental to them. It was problematic to them. So it's one of those things that's the team that I immediately thought of. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to affect them, especially when both sides of the ball will lose wages if a game can't be played. So they're the first team that I thought of. But the NFL saying, hey, we will not reschedule games if you guys have an outbreak amongst non-vaccinated players, because, and this is the same reason why they can't make it mandatory, because scientifically speaking, and we know this, they've already stated you can still get it if you're vaccinated. They don't believe it's going to affect you as much as it would if you weren't vaccinated, and I saw a little chart about that saying, okay, this is what happens in vaccinated people who get it. This is what happens in non-vaccinated people. And the impact on your lungs is so far, and the research that they've done is worse in non-vaccinated people, but it doesn't absolve you from getting the virus. So it's going to be interesting if we do continue to see these outbreaks, or what do they call them? They don't call them breakthroughs, where people are getting, the virus and they're vaccinated. Then what do you do? Are those teams automatically going to be rescheduled? Because now if they are vaccinated and they get it, they still can't play. What? I thought the way that they phrased this was very interesting, because we're learning more and more that, it is possible to get it. So what happens then? I read the memo. I didn't see any contingency plan if you have to reschedule a game because vaccinated people are getting it. What's the plan? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what the plan is either for that kind of situation, but I think what we could see happen is that if there is even a single or more than one person who is positive for COVID, and it falls on both vaccinated and unvaccinated players, the NFL's policy is still going to stay in place. If there's only one person who tests positive on the team, my guess is if that person is vaccinated, they won't be suffering the penalties, and that one person will just have to go into isolation until they test negative. But that's only my guess. I'm not totally sure. I think because we see that COVID can spread pretty easily, especially when people are in a locker room together or they're ramming into each other, that it's pretty easy to contract it. If one person has it, even if it originated from a vaccinated person, it may end up infecting non-vaccinated people, and then the rule will still apply. I'm wondering, though, because we did see how the NFL bent over backwards so much last season in order to accommodate these outbreaks and these canceled games and all of that, I'm wondering if this rule is maybe less about pushing players to get vaccinated and more about the league just not wanting to deal with having to manage all of these reschedulings. What do you think about that?
I definitely don't think it's about mandating the vaccine. I think that when you have a league, this might be the one time I give the NFL credit, when you have a league that is predominantly Black and you understand, the Tuskegee effect that affects Black people, and then still medical disparages that are happening in the Black community. You can't tell a whole bunch of Black people you have to get vaccinated. You just can't do that. You would look like an idiot if you did. But at the same time, if you want 18 weeks and there's a period at the end of that sentence, then you make sure, because that also plays into advertising dollars. You have people purchasing ads for this day and time between these two teams. I'm positive that the advertising dollars they're getting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Giants game is probably more than they're getting for the Tampa Bay versus Cowboys game, which is the first game of the season. This is what I know for sure. So when you're talking about advertising dollars, I really don't care if you're sick. It doesn't matter to me, because I can't reschedule that specific game to later in the season, when that company may, for whatever reason, wants their commercial to air at this time. Maybe they have a new product coming out. Maybe it's a new car, if we're talking about a car brand. So it comes down to advertising dollars, and I can't let how you feel about the vaccine, whether you want to get the vaccine or not, that can't impact my bottom line. So I think that the way that they're doing this is actually flawless, and I never give the NFL credit, because I think that they so 99% of the time, this is the 1% that I'm going to say they did this the right way, by saying, hey, we're not going to force you to get the vaccine, but we're not messing up our money. somewhere along the line, there was a conversation about how their money got messed up last season because of pushing games back. And they were like, we're not going to let that happen this season, regardless. So I think they did this one the right way. They're protecting their asset and they're not taking away people's free will. I think it was a good way to go.
And then what do you think about DeAndre's reaction to the NFL memo and how he says that he's questioning his future in the NFL now that they are sort of not mandating, but just like encouraging people to get vaccinated, or at least putting penalties in place for those who choose not to. Is it extreme for him to say he is considering retiring early or whatever he was implying there? What was your reaction to that?
I mean, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. I think when you look at the NFL as a whole, it's like, well, damn, here's another thing. You're going to make me do this. I don't want to play for you. As a whole, I don't think it was, it's just one of those things. The NFL is not the happiest place on earth. They do a lot of things that would make anyone question why you work for that organization. So I think this one is just one of those things that it was a knee-jerk reaction. He did recant that later and say, hey, I think I got 9 years left in me. So obviously I think that was a knee-jerk reaction. I saw another tweet. I think it was from Jalen Richardson. What he said was perfect. Look, there's a lot of you guys out there who don't want to get the vaccine. The NFL has said they're cool with that. I'm cool with that. But you got to understand that you don't want to be a detriment to your team. And that's exactly what DeAndre was saying. Like the fear of possibly being a detriment to my team. Obviously, DeAndre still feels strongly on one side or the other about the vaccine. But Jalen said it perfectly. You got to understand that if you don't want to get the vaccine, you are in prison for 18 weeks. That means you go to practice, you go home. You go to the game, you go home. You need to tell your family all this little running around that y'all want to do. Y'all either have to go somewhere and do that, or we gonna be in this prison together, and we're gonna rock with this together. But it's an either or situation, and these players need to own that. If you don't want to get the vaccine, I am highly against people forcing you to do so. However, you need to make sure you're taking the necessary precautions on your end. I know that the NFL is going to test you once a day. I would probably take it another step forward and have tests in my house, those rapid tests that you can get over the counter now. I'm wearing masks all the time, probably wearing gloves all the time. If I'm going to a gas station and pumping gas, I'm having gloves on. You have to go over and above the call of duty if you are going to choose not to get vaccinated. But yes, prison is what you're going to be in for the next 18 weeks. Own that, do it, go out there and play your best game, and don't complain about it, because it's an either or situation.
Totally. That's what I was thinking too. It's like the option is there to not get the vaccine and everybody is cool with that, but then you have to be willing to not go to the, the big dinners out at a restaurant. Don't spend a weekend in Vegas, or, it's like, it's going to require a bit of sacrifice of, free time from the player and the people that want to be around the player during that 18-week period. So the option is there, but I think that no matter which way you look at it, there's a bit of a sacrifice on either side here for the people who get the vaccine when they don't necessarily want it, or for the people who choose not to and they must sort of be in that prison for a while. So it's an interesting update from the NFL. I think that they also did handle it pretty well. They're kind of laying the groundwork there. They've made their stance clear. They don't want to have to watch a team like the Steelers suffer because of coronavirus outbreaks or breakthroughs, whatever is happening. And so they're just kind of protecting their money and the teams involved in the schedule, because it was very challenging to watch that happen and see so many games get canceled, and these teams who are ready to go, they don't get to play anymore. It's tough. We're in a very difficult time, and there's really no clear-cut answer as to how things should move forward. And I think they're doing the best that they possibly can. On that note, I feel like we can actually wrap up Need to Know News. We're a little bit early, but we have so much fun stuff coming up in the post-up about the Bucks parade. So, Jackie, do you want to take it away?
Yes, let's get right into it, because yesterday I was mad that the Bucks got to have a parade and we didn't have one here in LA. I'm still mad about that. I just want y'all to know I'm very upset watching people go out and celebrate, and we didn't have that opportunity. Not technically. I mean, I know a lot of people went out and did it anyway, but I was excited to see. I know we showed you yesterday the moment in time where Giannis was passing out cigars. What I didn't show you was that moment where he's like, oh, I need to pass out my cigars. I need to be like LeBron did it last year. Giannis is just a fun guy. he's just a very, very likable guy. The best thing in the world that's happened for Giannis, though, is the Suns fans doing that countdown when he was at the free throw line. His free throw percentage has gone up since they started doing that because he would wait to release the ball until they got to 10. This works for him, but I will say this: when him mocking himself doing it on the bus kind of confused me for a second because I was like, what the hell is he doing? Is he posing for a picture? Is he having a stroke? What is happening? Take a look at this. This is hilarious.
6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6.
There's not even enough people out there. Mike Locke said, Jackie watching the Bucks parade mad. Yes, I was. Look at that street was thin. There was places that people could actually be. That would not have been the case here in LA. Y'all didn't even do it right. I'm so mad. Okay, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to reel it in. I'm still mad that I didn't go out there. And I know I was being responsible, but now I'm a little bit hating on my responsibility because I didn't get an opportunity to celebrate. And I'm upset about this. But back to Giannis. I love this moment in time for him, and I agree with what this user says as well. Let me throw up at this next tweet. He says, you've got to love Giannis. Ben Simmons has to look at Giannis for inspiration on how to ignore the haters and overcome his shortcomings. I agree with that. I think that ship might have sailed for Ben Simmons, but I don't want to, hopefully he does, but he's absolutely right. All the criticism that we gave Giannis, he overcame all of that and played so well. So proud of him. And as much as I'm glad that Giannis was able to use this whole, let them count down to 10. I'm going to release my shot, increase my free throw percentage. I also agree with this user because we need some changes. They need to consider changing the free throw time limit rules, walking back to half court, slowly walking up to the line, taking practice free throws without the ball, then taking the full allotted time. That needs to be simplified. I definitely agree with that. There was a moment in game 6, I know you guys saw it, where they called Giannis for traveling because he kind of picked up the ball and walked a couple steps. I found that hilarious because LeBron does it all the time. He'll literally pick up the ball and walk over half court. It never gets called. But if you simplify this rule so everyone's getting the same thing, I agree with that user. That one is 100% correct. But let's move on to this next one because let me tell you something. There's a couple of things in this post up that confused me. This is the first one. Because I was like, damn, is my memory going? Brandon Jennings ain't played since 2018. Why is he in the damn parade? But he was in the parade nonetheless, and he had his own energy. Take a look. So why is he there though? So I went and I looked it up and I was like, maybe I'm tripping. I am not. He has not played since 2018. I'm right. The COVID police did come out though. This person says, now it might be me, but this nasty ass behavior is not cool at all, especially in the middle of a damn pandemic. What? I'm just saying, he's far enough away from the people. We probably should be concerned about that woman in the truck with him. But again, why is he there? Can somebody please tell me? I'm so confused. Twitter is confused with me as well. I got a couple of tweets from them people on Twitter who says, this is so lame. Bro had nothing to do with this chip. Okay. I was like, that's more like it. It's not just me. But apparently he did one thing that warrants him being in this parade. This person says he coined bucks and six. That's your ignorance if you don't know that. I'm sorry. I agree with the user on the bottom that says, damn, he coined that term, X team and Y games. That's some creative genius, revolutionary stuff. That's how he got in the parade. So that means that if the Suns had won, Suns and 4 guy would have been in the parade too. Why is he there? Devin, help me. I don't know why this man is in this parade.
First of all, I think that tweet is hilarious. That person being like, he coined bucks in 6. No, he didn't. He didn't coin bucks in 6. That is so annoying. And then to end it with like, that's your ignorance showing. Like, this is what I hate about Twitter. People, like, so idiotic. He did not coin that term. Maybe he said it once and then he was right. But like, So were probably thousands of other people when they were making their bets about the NBA Finals. So stupid.
What I've gotten, if they had gone to 7 games in overtime, do I get to go to the parade? Just because I said it? I mean,
you coined that term.
I coined it. The hell, that one got me so confused. I spent too much time like, why is he there? Like looking this up. I have no reason. You guys aren't offering me any reason in the chat, but apparently he coined the phrase. Whatever. Let's move on to this next one because I still have issues with that one. But if you have this one, I can co-sign on. PJ obviously has reason to have champagne in his mouth. He obviously contributed to their win. He had a moment though. You guys see if you can pick it out. Take a look.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
That is the universal phrase when you know somebody's struggling. You good? you about to throw up? That's the first thing I thought when I saw this. I'm like, oh no, PJ about to throw up. Nash, don't do it. Don't do it. But of course, that was the thought process because I want you to take a look at this next tweet. He said, definitely trying his hardest not to yak in front of everybody. Bro, trying not to look like a punk. I agree. And this next user saw the same moment in time. This is when I knew it got real for him because he was like, oh no, that's way too much champagne in my mouth. And I have to, I see what you did there. DJ Brooks says, bro, pause. I get you. I see what you did there. But yes, this was, not everybody can drink champagne. If that had been me and champagne, I cannot do it either. I cannot mess with champagne like that. But PJ, you tried it. You tried to look hard, but we saw that moment. Let's go on to this next one because this one I want to have a conversation about because you guys in the chat have said that this was going to happen before. I do not think so. I know a lot of you guys have said Budenholzer is out, but let's go talk about this first one first, the bus. No, we talked about this in our group chat yesterday because this is the first thing we saw about the parade because we were on air when the parade was happening. First thing we saw was the bus going 100 miles. Y'all take a look at this bus. It's the aw for me. It was, oh man.
It's so funny.
So funny. I had to watch that like 5 times. Like, why is he going so fast?
Here's what I think was happening. I think it was A, the bus driver's first time driving in a parade. B, he was probably really excited to have all the bucks on his bus, and he was just like, lots of adrenaline going, so he was like, ooh, gotta go, and he was hitting that gas pedal a little too hard. So those are the 2 reasons I think he was just zooming out of there, because that was way too fast.
Yes, and the fans, the all in unison. Oh, that was so. I felt so heartbroken for them. That was a good one. Obviously, Twitter had something to say about this as well. And this one says, "This is the bus driver." First of all, I actually downloaded this video, and this is actually a real thing. You can hear people on this bus screaming. This man going down the hill on a mountain. That's insane. That's terrifying. If I was a Bucks fan, I'd be like, slow down, bro. We standing up on this bus. Don't be taking turns this fast. And then this next one is great as well. He said they actually haven't even started the parade. So apparently this was not the start of the parade. They're leaving to go to the starting point. I'm so glad this next person, this is my thought. If what you're saying is right, then those groaning fans should have been at the starting point. How was that not the starting point? That bus driver needs to be, I can't say fired because it was just a one-day thing, but at least I'm wagging my finger at you, sir. We out here waiting. Some of those people took the day off work and you just drove right past them. That's jacked up. But now let's talk about, I saw some of you already talking about it. Coach. He's not going anywhere, guys. I know that a lot of us have said that he probably needs to be fired, but I'm telling you, I told you that from day one. If they win, this solidifies his job. He's not going anywhere, but you guys take a look. Bucks fans came out right in front. You know, Coach is on the He's on the platform. You got a big old sign that says "Fire Coach Bud." Y'all, the disrespect is so real. I'm here for it though. This is hilarious to me. Because it's just not going to happen. And I have another tweet says, this one's funny as hell and true. Coach Budenholzer is not going to get credit for this chip because he doesn't deserve it. And then this guy says he coached circles around Monty. I do not believe that. I think that Coach Monty was they just were understaffed a little bit when it comes up to the Bucks. But Devin, I want to go to you because I know, and then this one is hilarious. Coach Bud's like, me? You're going to fire me? Yes. But I know it would be easier for you because you don't even like saying the man's last name. But do you think he's going to be able to keep his job now? I think it's a definite yes once you win.
There's no way that they're going to be firing him after bringing home the first finals win in 50 years. So he definitely is safe moving into next season. That being said, when it comes to Coach Mike and Monty, I definitely think that just the interactions that we saw with Monty Williams and Chris Paul, like you can just tell there is so much respect there, and he, I think, is definitely the better coach. It was just a matter of circumstance that the Suns didn't actually win this championship run. But yeah, Coach Mike Budenholzer's, wow, I said it really well that time. Yeah. He is definitely safe. He's not losing his job. And also, I just want to say, even though I think his coaching has been problematic in the past, that was rude for that person to have the sign. The disrespect, that was bad.
If that's how you feel, I'm not mad at it. Get your sign up there because I agree. Who said it in the chat? I just saw it. I think it was Dennis that said, he didn't really do anything. He's kind of like Frank Vogel in that aspect. I agree. With one caveat. Here's the only caveat. We have been criticizing Giannis over and over and over again. I just don't know which one it was. I don't know if Giannis kind of did this whole self-reflection when he saw how good the team was without him and then did his own self-correct, or if he was exactly who he's told us he was and he's not going to do anything that the coach doesn't tell him to do. So if Coach Budenholzer is the reason why Giannis started not clogging the lane, getting his guys involved more, actually waiting that whole 10 seconds and improving his free throw percentage, then you got to give that man that credit. I just don't know which one it was. So until we know, so I don't know. Mike Glock says, Frank Vogel for a bag of rocks. Okay. It's probably the same thing, but let's go on to this next one. Because that was kind of rude though. I get it, but I'm here for the shade. But this next one for me was how I envision if I was a boy mom, if I had two boys between the ages of 5 and 6. This is how I anticipate them being outside playing basketball. This is how I anticipate this going. But we're talking about grown men right now. So I want you to see this exchange between KD and Bam. And y'all let me know if these are just a bunch of pouting crybabies right now. Well, specifically KD. But y'all take a look at this.
I made it with that one. That was a big ball, bro. Bro, this is the girl ball. No, it's not. The big ball Kelvin got, bro. Yo, swing. Somebody swing that. This is the girl ball, bro. Swing that. Yeah. Stop lying on fucking time, bro. I made that though, my dude. You ain't got to snap the ball. No, for real though. I'm about to eat. All right, shoot ball.
Did I just watch two grown men fight over a basketball at a shoot around? This is the most asinine thing. And KD was so serious. Bam was like, oh no, your ball's over there. And he's like, no, it's not. That's my ball. This is a girl ball. Sidebar though, I am still perplexed why we can have a smaller ball for the WNBA, but we can't lower the rim a touch. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, KD was mad about this ball. I am so perplexed. And then he goes to Twitter. This is how you know he's mad. Because they started circulating this video, and then he goes, dog seen me knock down the corner 3 and proceeds to work on his ball handling with the ball he been had. Bro gotta learn some respect. It's a basketball. There's other basketballs there. I don't understand the problem. And then, of course, Bam was like, hold up. Now I got to respond to this. No, you didn't. He says, stop lying, KD. You saw Damian Lillard take your rock, just tried to little bro me, and then middle fingers him. And then, oh, God, this is so, I can't. And then Damian Lillard is like the big brother in the situation that says, y'all little kids stay over there. Keep this off my neck. Thank you. I don't want no parts of this. This is so annoying. This one person on Twitter had this comment that I'm like, this is so true. This is why y'all losing games. Y'all out here beefing instead of building chemistry. And Sarah, I actually looked her up. She worked with the Australian League, so she just don't like Americans. But she says, not about chemistry. It's about egos trying to step over each other. That's the core of American basketball. This is not what we're used to. We're used to in the Olympics and in the All-Star games. Guys are like, hey, I get to play with people I don't normally get to play with. Yay. And KD's out here crying over a basketball. Make it make sense. Devin, I don't understand what is happening right now.
When I saw this video, I was so surprised to see how aggravated KD got so quickly. Of course, the Twitter back and forth to me seemed like just funny banter. Like nobody's really taking it seriously. But when he was like, no, it's not. Like to me, that was like, whoa, KD, chill out. Why are you so mad? You're at a shoot around. Like, it's not a big deal. It was very weird to me to see him get so upset so quickly. I don't know. I feel like even though this is all kind of playful, to me, it seems like maybe there is a little bit of like tension behind the scenes. Maybe they're not loving playing together, but they're having to keep that like happy face and that positive vibe going because they're about to go into their first game in the Olympics. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of strange.
Just because Dame's reaction, y'all know I love Dame so much, but Dame's reaction as soon as the exchange started happening, he just kind of was like, let me just go over here. Like he just kind of bowed out and was like, which makes me feel like they've done this a couple of times because that's the reaction like, oh, here we go again. What is happening over there? KD, girl. This is I don't understand it. All right, but let's get into this next one because I know I'm going to make you guys mad again. Kevin Lang, I already understand the tuck rule and all that good stuff, but nonetheless, Tom Brady got his Super Bowl ring. That thing is built like a stadium. Unnecessary. It's a little too much. I don't necessarily like the look of the ring, but I like Tom Brady and Grunk turning up, receiving their rings. Take a look.
Hey, I'm trying to tell him, TP.
I'm talking about the guy Lombardi Lenny.
Yeah.
Right here. With the ring on now.
With the ring on.
Official. Ring on. Shady.
Ring on, man. With the Billy Boys, man. With the Billy Boys, man. The full-time Super Bowl champ. Yeah, talk your shit.
Say I got rhythm.
Hold up. Don't play with my dog.
That don't matter. I ain't blinked out like one.
This was so fun. I will say this, though. Tom, please don't develop a drinking problem because this is the second time I done seen you celebrate and you completely tossed. But I love you. Turn up. It's fine. I'm not mad at this. But look, Twitter, of course. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I want to let you finish that. I just want to say something before we move on to the next one. So finish your thought. Sorry.
I'm going to show you this one tweet really quick because the pettiness, the shade is all unnecessary. He says, too bad they can't be removed or denied their rings, considering Brady violated NFL rules all season by not disclosing his injury. Always some type of BS surrounding the GOAT. Hope they find and suspend the mess out of Tampa Bay and their quarterback. So let's be clear on this one. They didn't tell us, but the Buccaneers knew about that injury. So it's not the same thing. It's smart not to tell us because then you don't want the other team gunning for your quarterback in a way. And you just, you don't want that. Please, if y'all don't want me to keep defending Tom Brady, don't say these asinine things. But Devin, let me get back to you really quick. What were your thoughts on this?
Okay, Tom Brady and the drinking. I know you said you don't want him to develop a drinking problem. This man will never develop a drinking problem. This is a guy who has taken tomatoes, beets, potatoes, all out of his diet because they are not healthy enough for him. Tomatoes! tomatoes this guy won't eat. That's outrageous to me. So when he indulges in alcohol, he probably goes a little too far because he never does it. He's the kind of guy, he's like me. He's a 2-drink wonder. So he probably takes 2 shots of tequila and he is just absolutely plastered. So that's probably why we see him looking like such a mess whenever he is celebrating, because it's the handful of times each year that he's actually letting himself indulge in any sort of alcohol at all.
I'm confused though. Tomatoes aren't healthy? Since when?
No, he won't. I think I eat tomatoes all the time, but he doesn't eat nightshades, anything that falls in the nightshade family, which is like tomatoes and eggplants and other things. He won't eat that. Like, his diet is so insane.
Okay.
And maybe he's changed it, but that's how it used to be.
I gotta look up this whole nightshade family and like, it's probably half the stuff I eat.
It's fine though. Tom Brady's just too intense. Eat the tomatoes.
Right. I love tomatoes. I get the little cherry tomatoes. That's my snack. I just eat it. Like they're potato chips. That's my thing. I love tomatoes. My Glock says tomatoes are bad for your leg. What? What?
Your leg? Why? What?
I never heard that. Okay, well, at least you got me a good laugh, because I have never heard that before in my entire life. That is hilarious. All right, let's go on to this next one, because I'm going to have to be honest with you 100%. I was a little nervous when I saw this tweet before I actually saw this video. So let me show you this tweet. It says, for scientific purposes, Mexican athletes testing the anti-sex beds. I was like, I am not watching this video because I did not know what was next, but I can assure you it's safe to watch. But still, maybe a different title, because in my head, there's only one way to test an anti-sex bed, and that's to see if... Anyway, y'all take a look at this video.
Si no te tiras encima, Mora. Ay, pero es mi cama, güey.
No, vete de lado.
That's some pretty strong cardboard. But here's the thing. So let's say that they do engage on said cardboard. Is the housekeeping staff supposed to be checking, like, to see if it's bent in any... How would they even... Devin, help me out. I don't know what's going on. Damn cardboard bed. I just don't know.
These cardboard beds to me are completely idiotic. I think that it's a violation of their privacy. I understand that they want to keep everybody safe from COVID, but to bring out cardboard bed frames when these are athletes who need their rest, to me, it's so wrong on so many levels. If they want to risk it and fornicate on a game night, that is their problem, I think. Like, they need to just be able to deal with those risks. So for me, I think this is a really bad idea, and clearly they don't even work. So these athletes are getting unsupportive bed frames that are made out of cardboard for no reason at all, and they don't even fulfill their desired task.
Yeah, it's like you have to think it through, because the cardboard would have to be strong enough that it could hold an adult. Because when I think of cardboard, I think of my Amazon box, and even I ordered my my living room table, and it came in a huge box, but that wouldn't sustain me, right? So obviously they have to do something else to the cardboard to make it. So you've made it strong, thereby defeating the reason why you wanted a cardboard bed in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's just think it through. This is why the Olympics are trash. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I will be watching, because I interviewed Rachel McCoy. She's going to start competing soon, so I'm going to watch it for that reason. But the Olympics are trash. Just trash. Let me move on to this next one. Because this is our last post up, and this one I probably would want to watch more than once, just because this is amazing. And I love kids. My first thought, just before she even starts this run, I believe it's like 17 miles an hour or something like that she's running. It just did not look safe. And you hear what I think is either her dad or her coach in the background, and he's saying something like, if you feel good, you run good. I did not feel good watching her gear up for this. I was very, very worried. But you guys take a look and let me know what you think.
Feel good, run good.
I'll be right here, okay?
Go fast. Go. There you go. Go.
Keep him there. And rest.
Jackie, you're muted.
I'm proud of her, but I don't know. Devin, what'd you think looking at that video? That girl, I was so scared she was going to fall. One misstep.
Mm-hmm. I know. I always think when I see these really young kids doing these huge athletic feats, it's very impressive, but I also wonder what did they have to do to get to that point? Like, who's pushing them that hard? Are they doing all of this of their own volition, or do they have some sort of micromanaging parent on the side? 17 miles per hour is very, very fast. So, I mean, it's obviously impressive, but it is pretty scary for her. Like, what if the slightest misstep, she would fall and probably really hurt herself?
Yeah, but you know, the thing is like, it's so funny because I look at this and I'm like, damn, I used to run track and I bid it on several occasions, just without a treadmill, you know? And so for me, the thought of falling on a treadmill is way worse than falling on like a track, you know, because it's just like one little tumble and, you know, okay, dang, that hurt my elbow, maybe my chin. You fall on a treadmill, your whole body is all of a sudden at the will of this little, I don't know. I mean, I get it. She's going to be super fast when she grows up. Congratulations to her. But I think my auntie spirit is kicking in like, get that baby off that damn treadmill. So,
yeah, I agree. Maybe we couldn't see it and she has one of those cords on where it immediately yanks out if you pull it, so then the treadmill stops. You know those I'm talking about?
Yep. We have those in the gym here. Yep. I don't ever have to use it because I don't ever go that fast. I'm just doing like a little power walk. So I never have to use that. But so at least he was right there with her. He had his hand, the coach had his hand there the whole time. So I'm pretty sure he would have grabbed her. We've seen those gymnasts when they do those tumbling things and they get an off step and the coach comes out of nowhere and grabs them to safety. So I think she would have been fine. But I saw somebody said, yeah, parent mode. Yeah, my parent made her do it. Gary Tober said parent made her do it. For sure. It's definitely dad, though. I would have done it, too, but I'm with you, Devin. I would have just been like, I would have to look away for at least a second. Don't get my damn baby off this meal.
I know, right? I'm wondering, though, because we've talked about these young kids who are, like, really amazing at what they do, and they're, 9 years old or 10 years old or whatever. How often do you think kids are doing it on their own because they have their own goals, and how much of it is pressure from parents? Like, what would you think it is?
I mean, I think it depends. There's obviously parents that do push their kids to do stuff. And we learn about that later in life because all of a sudden, whatever they were pushed to do, they start hating late in life. But then there are kids, like I said, when I started bowling, I just thought I was going to grow up and be a wide receiver in the NFL. That was my goal when I was 5, was to grow up and be the first female wide receiver. But, my dad got me bowling I think I was 6 when I started bowling, and then I was good at it. And then I used to go watch him play. And then, my dad was my hero. So all of a sudden, you want to be like your dad and stuff. So that's how I ended up bowling. So I think it's a little bit of both. He never pushed it on me. It was just, do you want to do this? Because if you want to do this, you're going to be good at it. And then when I said yes, then he started helping me. So I think maybe it's a little bit of both. In healthy families, in non-healthy families, the kids are forced. But so that's all I got for the post up. Let's get into what we're not going to do, because this one, to me, you guys know I'm not a huge baseball fan. It's cool, but I'm not a huge fan in it. So I don't have a dog in this race. However, I think what the Cleveland baseball team has done is great. They've been the Cleveland Indians for a long time. We know they had that offensive logo, which they did away with a little while ago, but they took it one step further and changed their name. I think it's a great thing. I think that, there's still a lot of racism that abounds in Major League Baseball, and I think this is one step to try to rectify that. So I think it's a good thing. I think they did what they were supposed to do. They did this whole video production to announce that they have officially changed their nickname to the Guardians. I thought it was great. It's 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It's a long video, tells about the history of the team, where they came from, what they've accomplished. It honors some past baseball players. all that good stuff. I thought it was great. I'm obviously not going to show you the whole video, but I am going to show you the last minute of it. And just because I definitely want to applaud Cleveland for taking this step. So take a look.
We remember those moments as we move forward with change. You see, it has always been Cleveland that's the best part of our name. And now it's time to unite as one family, one community, to build the next era for this team and this city, to keep watch and guard what makes this game the greatest, to come together and welcome all who want to join us. We are loyal and proud and resilient. We protect what we've earned and always defend it. Together we stand with all who understand what it means to be born and built from the land. Because this is the city we love and the game we believe in. And together, we are all Cleveland Guardians.
Yo, I love this video. I love this video. I thought it was great. They did an amazing job making sure they got representation from that city. It was a diverse video. There's their new logo right there at the end. Cleveland Guardians. I love that. They posted their logo on their Twitter as well. So if you didn't see the video, you would get to see their logo. I mean, I don't really like the logo, but you know, it's not horrible. The point is not the logo for me though. The point is they did the right thing. And in a world where it's so hard to get people to do the right thing, I think this is a moment in time where you take a step back and you applaud them. Because what they could have done, honestly, is just change the name and moved on about it and said, yo, we the Guardians now. That's what it's going to be. That's what Washington is going to do. I can guarantee you these people have put no thought into changing their name because they don't want to. They're in a time when they're being pressured by the public to change their name. But deep down in Dan Snyder's heart, he does not want to change the name. This is different. When you kind of turn a corner and you say, we need to do this because this is the right thing to do. We want to show the public that we need to move forward in this together. I saw someone in the chat say, I don't like the name Guardians. Okay, fine. You're not going to please everybody. But the point is, regardless of how you feel about the name, this organization did the right thing. And I'm disappointed, but happy at the same time because I didn't see, you know, a lot of the MAGA vibe about, oh, they shouldn't have changed the name. I saw a couple people that said, as a white person, I don't understand why the name needed to be changed. Let me know why. And then I saw some people post, well, okay, so let's call it the Caucasians. And then even that white guy was like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. So I didn't see any of that typical, oh, we're just hating for hate's sake. Everyone seemed to come together and realize, yes, this is something that needed to be done. Beautiful thing for Cleveland fans. I loved scrolling through Twitter and seeing how much you guys appreciated that the name needed to be changed, but then you decided to nitpick other things, which is a little weird to me. So let me throw up this tweet. I actually kind of get this when you're talking about Cleveland, because like I said, in this video, they just kind of went over and above to make sure they had representation of that city. And this guy says, why have Tom Hanks narrate this? If you guys didn't know that, that was Tom Hanks. He spent 3 years living in Cleveland in the 1970s, but is born and raised a Californian. Halle Berry, Kathryn Hahn, Patricia Heaton, Tom Jackson, Clark Kellogg, Trent Reznor, and Jim Thorne weren't available. I get that, especially when your whole vibe is like, hey, we are Cleveland. Why not get LeBron James to narrate it? Anyway, so let's go on to this next one. This next tweet. This one says, that's it. This seals the deal. After 15 years of being a Cleveland Indians fan, I have to say this name change is terrible. I will no longer be renewing my season tickets and will take my fandom to the Chicago White Sox, where they know how to name a baseball team. This was the only negative one that about this name change. Everybody else was like, oh, you should have had this person narrated, this person. But as a whole, the Cleveland Guardian fan base, they did their thing. A lot of people didn't like the name. A lot of people didn't like the logo, but they all still acknowledge this is still the right way to go, even though I don't like this. So what we're not going to do is skip over this moment in time where I literally got to scroll through Twitter and saw a fan base that recognized that change was needed in this moment. I think it's a beautiful thing. Well done, Cleveland Guardians. Like I said, I don't have a huge dog in this race, except for knowing that this is something that needed to be done. So well done. I saw somebody in the chat earlier say, yeah, so now maybe Washington can change their name. Apparently, their name change is coming next season, not this upcoming season, or maybe it is this upcoming season, but apparently they've discovered something and they got a name change coming as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, once that drops. But Devin, what do you think about this? Are you surprised to see that they're literally, and I scrolled through, you know how I get, I only saw one fan that said, nope, I'm not going to be a fan because of this name change. Everybody was really supportive of this moment.
I am surprised that there was only one hater. I would have expected a lot more, just because we've seen, even with the Washington, when they decided to no longer go by the name that we've always known them by, there were so many people that were like, this is stupid, it's not racist, blah, blah, blah. So people were really upset about them becoming the Washington football team. And so now for Cleveland to change their name and have such a positive reception, to me, is very, very surprising and shocking. But I'm happy about it. You know, I think that it shows that people are ready for progress. It shows that we're open to changing things and doing things in a way that's different than we've always known them to be. And of course, this is just one small step. It probably happened way later. Actually, it definitely happened way later than it needed to. But the meaningful thing is that it happened, and that they were able to be, you know, reflective and look at the name and see how it could be alienating and offensive to people, and they changed it, and people are okay with it. Like that, I love that. I love this moment. I thought the video was so well done, because at the end of the day, what really is the most important thing about a team is that it's Cleveland. That was such a powerful statement to make. It doesn't matter what the mascot is, it's Cleveland. And so I think that I'm just really impressed by this. I love that.
Yeah, you the whole video, it's actually really, really good. The whole entire video is really good. It kind of makes you, like I said, I'm not a baseball fan. If I was looking for a team, I might be a Cleveland Guardians fan now, because it was that well done. I saw T Tamblish in the chat. He said, but Cowboys and Patriots are cool. And I know what you're getting at. Patriots is a whole nother story. 99% of people don't know the history of the term cowboy and where it came from, which is why it's not offensive, because most people just don't know the history of it, right? We know the history of Columbus crashing into the wrong continent. So there's a difference. There's a difference in that. We know the history, and so history is what makes it offensive. But yay, shouts out to Cleveland. I'm glad they did this. This is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. Now, we're ending the show a tiny bit early, so before we do, I just want to take a couple minutes and address something very major that happened this week. LeBron James became the first NBA player to earn $1 billion. Jackie, how does it feel? Because I know if LeBron's got $1 billion, it feels like you've got $1 billion too.
I got $1 billion. I was like, damn, I got to get me some LeBron. I'm a billionaire gear made. You know, some of the gear that I have is custom made LeBron gear. So I feel like this is time to up my custom made LeBron gear, maybe add some stuff to my wall. Ooh, I should get a billionaire sign and put it on my LeBron wall. That would be dope. See, just gave me an idea.
It would be dope. It's funny because, you know, people always want to hate on LeBron for various reasons, but one thing that we can take away is that he is an incredible athlete and a very, very savvy business person. So I think that that's extremely impressive, and I love that for him. $1 billion. I can't even wrap my mind around $1 billion. Like, that is so much money to me. And it's great that it's he's a black man. He's got $1 billion. So cool. I love that. Is there anything else you want to add about that before we wrap up?
Just that he's dope. He's an amazing guy. You know what, Jeremiah? Funny thing though, Jordan's rings doesn't equal LeBron's money. So, you know, hang on to that.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to wrap up our show for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you all have an amazing weekend, and we'll be back here on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure you tune in. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, share this video with your friends, and most importantly, have an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Bye, everyone.